It is time for the Midlife Hockey Crisis Beer League podcast, brought to you by WinningSynthetics.com, your one stop for all things Amsoil, and thehockeyarsenal.com. Now, here are your hosts, TJ Hollingsworth and Dangling Dave Dickerson. Take it away, boys.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another exciting, action-packed, fun-filled adventure. A little thing we called Midlife Hockey Crisis, the Beer League podcast. I'm your host, TJ Hollingsworth, joined, as always, via Zoom in this day of social distancing as he's munching down a delicious Oreo cookie and a ice-cold Coors Light. The one and only, the Dangler, Dangling Dave Dickerson. What is up, big nuts?
Dude, birthday cake. Lainey's birthday Sunday, so I'm celebrating early.
Well, there you go. Lainey, of course, your little girl. How old is she going to be?
8, Ovi. She's going to be 8, man.
The great 8. All right, very good. That's a good age. You know, there is a huge conspiracy movement saying the Wayne Gretzky is behind the COVID-19 in order to stop Ovechkin from breaking his single-season record. What is your take on that, Dave?
Dude, I could believe it. It's the first I'm hearing about it, but I could believe it.
You know, I would not put anything past that guy just because of the fact that with his connections he's had to have made over his entire career in the sports world, there's got to be something there that we don't know about, I think.
Yeah, I'd smell a rat. Yeah, I got it.
I smell a Marchand somewhere.
Oh, God. So over the weekend they had a bunch of games, 2008, 2009, like championship.
Right.
Yeah, I had enough of Marchand after Saturday. My God.
You know, it's funny. He's one of those guys. I don't like dirty players at all. Hate it. Can't stand it. I don't like showboats. It's just not my personality. I don't care to watch it. But it's like usually guys like that aren't great. But when he's playing, he's a great player. But, man, I just don't understand all the extracurricular stuff. His game, to me, doesn't feel like it needs that. But he does it anyway. I don't get it.
Nah, he's a dirtbag. I mean, sorry anybody in Boston. But, yeah, I mean, he's such a good damn player. I was watching. A dude has hockey smarts. He's good. You know, he can skate in and out. He finds you where you need to be found. But, God damn, he's filthy.
And then out of nowhere, he'll just come by and slew foot somebody or something.
I got so mad. I got so mad just watching him. Anyway.
Cool. Well, let's get to this. How's your family holding out? How you guys surviving? This is our 4th week of self-imposed lockdown here in Central Indiana. How you doing? How's the family doing?
Not so bad. I mean, that's sticking around with each other. It's, we're all closed up. It kind of sucks, but at the same time, like when's this going to happen again? So we're trying to take each day. Got the kids in school, homeschool. Luckily, my wife's administrator in education, so that works. But yeah, man, we're getting by. How are you, man?
Doing good. It's my wife's in the healthcare industry. She's an administrator in a very large hospital here in Central Indiana, so she's been busier than a one-legged lady at a butt-kicking contest. It's been nice having her home because their particular hospital has decided they want as few people in that building as absolutely possible. Just obviously, with the risk of spreading the virus either way, either to patients or from patients to people. So she's been working from home, and on one hand, it's kind of neat. It's the technology just kind of sneaks up on us, just like you and I. I mean, I'm looking right at you right now, and we're doing a pretty good little broadcast, all with the magic of the internet and technology and everything else. And it's been great. I have not had her under at home with me for this amount of time, other than vacations, and those are typically no more than about 8 or 9 days at a time. So on that aspect, it's been great. I'm running out of stuff to do for sure. In addition to this, I do some nightclub work. I host some game shows and some things like that at a couple of different clubs here in town. So haven't been able to do that. I've done some landscaping. What else have I done? I've put a hitch on my lawnmower. Boy, that was exciting. And tomorrow, I did buy a new stereo for the Highlander Indoor Training Facility. The one I had was just not up to Highlander standards.
Right.
It's on 250 watts, lots of bass. So when we're able to get back together and train, we will be able to do so with proper music. And that's very important. And let's see what I got tomorrow. I will sweep the floor of the Highlander Indoor Training Facility, install a shelf to house that stereo unit. And the highlight of my day is I have a huge Amsoil order coming in from Winning Synthetics. I got some stuff for myself, my neighbor, and a friend. So I've got like a I've got 3 giant boxes coming from Amazon, so I have a good time unpacking that. And then after that, dude, I'm running out. After that.
I may have to swing through. I may have to swing out, man. I'm about ready for an oil change in about 500 miles. And
we can hook you up because what we do is we just pull up on my driveway. It's a bit of an angle anyway. We just go in there with a sharp screwdriver and pop a hole in the oil pan. The oil comes out. We're dumping it in as it's going out. So it's a very quick process. You don't even need a new filter. And then we slap some flex tape on the bottom of that, and you're off. And then when you come back next time, you just peel the tape off and repeat it. It's a little thing I'm working on.
The flex, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Super quick change. I'm working on a patent for the idea of the flex seal on the oil pan, so don't tell anybody about that yet.
I'll keep that my secret. Let's just not air this. And I think you might be good. Man, you got a busy week. Yeah, I'm working to the end of the week, and then I got the fabulous F word thrown at me. I'm on furlough, so that kind of sucks. But it's like I get to focus on school for a little bit longer, though. I'll be not buying those new skates that were in my shopping cart. So we'll put a pause on that.
Probably not a bad idea under the circumstances.
Yeah, they're going to send us back. I don't know what's worse, going back to work or having to work off. We'll see.
Well, that's what I've wondered through all this. How many people are going to go, yeah, I'm kind of digging this staying at home stuff. I'm just not going to go back. It's going to be like Office Space relived for everybody.
I know, man. I'm ready. I like the work I do. I work with a lot of good people. I'm ready to rock and roll here.
I hear you. Well, it's kind of interesting this is all happening now because 1 year ago this time I was still in a similar circumstances where I was kind of confined to my home and I couldn't play hockey. But for a vastly different reason, I had just I think it was the 3rd Sunday in March, I had broke my ankle, dislocated the ankle joint and tore the ligament playing hockey. And I was forced to sit out. And it just kind of occurred to me the other day as the picture started popping up in my Facebook memories that this is 2 summers in a row that I kind of haven't summer, in this case spring so far, kind of stolen from me. It kind of bummed me out a little bit.
Right. It popped up on my wife and I share a feed, Facebook. Let me just rephrase that. She has it. She put my name on. They're on Ancestry, so all these clowns are looking for me. Dude, can you tell me what happened, man? I mean, I like the story. I like your comeback story. Me being, I'm going to be eventually in rehab, physical therapy. I'm super interested. Maybe some of the folks are super interested. I think we should kind of reserve this for that. Can you tell me what happened, man? What happened? What was the injury? If there's any technical names for it, or you can dumb it down. Sure. Just kind of what happened.
It was kind of one of those perfect storms, Dave. I had just upgraded to a real nice pair of Bauer skates. I'd had some CCMs, the real basic, your entry level. I can't even tell you the model number, but it's the $70 ice skate or hockey skate. It was kind of one of those. Let's get these, see if this is going to work out. Of course, really ended up just enjoying hockey to death. So I spent a little money on some brand new skates, and decided to take a face-off, something I'd done maybe one time all season. And this is my first season playing it.
It happened on a face-off, yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of those. I'd been watching some video on YouTube, and it was, how to win a face-off and some things you can do. And one of the things I thought looked pretty cool is when you're down on your offensive zone, after the face-off, whether you win it or not, you go in, you can tie the other centerman up so he can't, get involved in the play. And I thought, I'm going to try that on this one. So puck drops, and I can't even remember if I won the faceoff or not. I really have no clue. And I have to go back. I do have all this.
You did. We'll go with you did.
Okay, I like that. I like the way you think. And as I took it, just a little half stride in to kind of hook the guy's stick and kind of hold him up a little bit, he came in and we kind of met. He may have gave me a little push. I mean, it was nothing malicious at all. It was kind of one of those, guy trying to make some space. And what he did, I started to fall. So as I twist my body to the right to kind of go with the fall, because I'm already in my brain thinking, all right, as soon as I fall, I need to get back up because we're in our end and, I still got an opportunity to score or, make a good pass or something. And as my body rotates around, my right skate it just grabbed an edge. That brand new steel locked into that ice. And as my body continued to fall, for whatever the reason, my right leg didn't continue to rotate and it just kind of stopped. And I remember I was down about a 45 degree angle going to the ground thinking, okay, I got to get up. I heard the snap. I could actually hear the tibia snap in my leg.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I just hope that was just that ankle popping out of joint. And then when I hit the ground, of course, I looked down and my whole body's twisted to the right. I'm actually laying on my right shoulder, and my foot, my skate was still sticking straight up at perpendicular to the ice at a 90-degree angle. So that's when I knew, oh, this isn't good. And Jordy Trottier, who's been on the show, he was coaching and officiating that game, standing right over the top of it. He has some interesting takes on it. So long and the short of it is ended up with broke the bone right above the ankle joint, dislocated the ankle, and also tore the ligament that kind of holds everything together. So I had like the triple whammy. They said they see a lot of these injuries in skiing.
In skiing, okay. Is it because of a super stiff boot?
Exactly. It's because of the boot. And if you look at where the break occurred, it was just a couple of inches above where the top of the boot is. Now, I don't know if that played any role or if that just happened to be, for whatever the reason, that's where the bone broke. But it was kind of one of those freak things, just caught that edge. It could do that 100 times, and 99 of those times I would just fall down, get back up, and be on my merry way. But for whatever the reason, this time it was I had the 1 in the 100 times that you don't come out of this real well. And ended up with this injury. I've got this on. I'll put this video, Wednesday morning with this upload. Yeah, I've got a video of it, of all things. It was great. My wife was taping it. I'll repost this on our Instagram, which you can find at Midlife Hockey Crisis. I'll put this up Wednesday morning with as the podcast is released.
Now, what happened next? I know you probably got carted off. You went to the hospital. What'd you do? I mean, did they start surgery then? Or, I remember you sending me pictures.
Right after it happened, like I said, the only thing I was really concerned with, Dave, at the time is, number one, it didn't hurt. It never hurt. As I was laying there was no pain whatsoever. But I knew something bad had happened really at that point. The only thing I was really concerned with was my foot and ankle swelling up and then not being able to get the skate off. I'm having to cut it off. I was like, man, I just spent almost $400.
Hell no.
So at this point, I'm on the ice. They're going. Let's get you off the ice. I'm going, yeah, get me off the ice so I get the skate off. So they cart me over, just kind of unceremoniously drop me off at the bleachers. Like, okay, later, dude. And they go back to finish the game. And my wife comes over, and it's February. It's cold, so I got a layer on underneath my gear. So I started taking the gear off and got everything down to that last skate. And this while I'm doing that, Judy ran back into the locker room, which I'm sure she'd never been in a hockey locker room before. So I'm sure that was an experience of a lifetime that she may or may not ever be able to forget. I'll have to get her on and ask her one time. But she came back out. And I was like,
she'll buy the aroma candle later.
Yeah. So, she started packing Glade plugins in my hockey bag after that. But yeah, after that we ended up going out, had another big non-event. I unlaced the skate and I was like, all right, just pull it off. Just 1, 2, 3, pull it, and whatever happens. And she pulled it right off, and there was, again, no pain. I was like, well, okay, that's not so bad. She ended up pulling the car around. I hopped along the side of the glass. At this point, I still, as far as I know, maybe I just have a dislocated ankle. We go to the ER, hang out there for a little bit, took some x-rays. They go, yep, you got a mess there. They, again, splinted it up, sent me on my way on a pair of crutches, and I had to have an orthopedic surgeon consultation 2 days later. Is that right? 2 days later on a Tuesday. And on Thursday morning, they wheeled me in for surgery and did their thing.
Now, do you have screws in there? Did you have screws at the time?
Yes, they did. Oh boy, they got it all. They had they put a plate in, stainless steel plate to hold the bone together. That had, I think, 4 screws holding that together, and that's still in there. The big one, the cool one, was the 3.5-inch screws, stainless steel, that went right into the bone, and that was to hold the tendon in place. And unbeknownst to me, that's the weight staying off of it, because I was on crutches and one of those little knee scooters for the better part of 6 weeks, was all for that tendon. Because once they put that big piece of stainless steel on that bone, it's like, if your leg ever breaks again, I can tell you where it won't break, and it's going to be anywhere up and down that stainless steel, because it's not going anywhere. I actually had a couple little accidents on my scooter in the house. I've got a main floor, and then our bedroom is a step down. And I thought I'd mastered the technique of rolling up, hanging onto the door jamb, and lowering the scooter down, the 6 or 8 inches or whatever it is, and then stepping off with my good foot and then knee on the scooter. And this time I just missed. and your instinct is you're falling to your right, stick your right leg out, which of course I did. And I just hit it square on the bottom of my foot. And I thought, oh, this is going to hurt. And again, never hurt. And it was like, wow. Yeah. And never ended up using pain meds or anything. I think I took them for once or twice, and then they were giving me a headache, and I kind of threw them away after that.
So two questions with that. First one is, with the plate, how long before they took the plate out? What's left in your leg? And also,
Sure.
You said you didn't use a lot of pain meds. Do you have some left over that you're willing to sell?
I can either confirm that there may be prescriptions still sitting in the medicine cabinet, but no, the plate stayed in. It's still in there now, and unless I have some issues with it later in life with it starting to rub through, he said we'll leave that in there. There's no reason to take it out. And then the two pins that were holding the tendon in, one of them broke at some point. Who knows? It was sometime between the final surgery to remove it and my final appointment, because every time I'd go in, they'd x-ray it. So that took a little longer to dig that out on the second surgery. But yeah, the plate's still in there. I think there's 3 or 4 screws that actually hold that, mend the two pieces of bone together. And yeah, they'll stay in there, like I said, until, forever, unless there's some kind of issue with it. And I'm trying to think here, that was April, and they finally took them out it was the end of July. So May, June, July, about 3 months, I think it's 12 weeks altogether when it's all said and done. And yeah, once they came out, the day that the screws came out, they stitched me up. It was a week after that they took the stitches out, and I thought, I've been this long, I can make it. But the day that they took the stitches out, I left the surgeon's office and went straight to the ice rink with the skates on. And my thing there's get over the mental block, just get out there, see what's going on, see where you're at, and kind of take it from there.
Yeah, I do remember you. I remember you skating really early. I do remember something breaking in your foot after, and you had to go get it looked at. So you immediately threw those things, your screw, whenever you were talking about your screw.
Yeah.
It took them a little extra.
It was supposed to be when they were pre-op, before they took the hardware out. He goes, well, this could take anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half. He said, if the screws are in there, he goes, everything's all good to go. Literally, he goes, we'll go in there, pop them in and out. He said, you won't be in there 15 minutes. And of course, I'm out. Propofol, Michael Jackson's drink of choice. So, I'm out 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days. I have no idea. But when I woke up, he goes, yeah, one of them was broke. So I had to kind of dig it out from the other side. So it took a little longer, but I don't think it made a big deal. It didn't really hamper any of the healing or anything like that.
Now, you skated relatively early. I remember, was it the day? You said it was the day? Yeah, it was very early, really
the day the stitches came out. I didn't go. There was, I think I had 4 or 5 stitches after the surgery. And I was at that point, I wanted to skate then, but I was like, if I tear these up, this is just gonna be that much longer for it to heal. And it's like, I think it was 2 weeks actually after that. 2 weeks, I'll take the stitches out. I was like, I've waited all summer. What's another 2 weeks at this point? But yeah, the day they popped those stitches out, went straight back to Carmel ice skating and realized just exactly how much what I'd learned I'd already forgotten or had lost some muscle memory of. But man, what a great day that was, buddy. I can't tell you how good that felt.
Right. Well, did you have rehab? Like what kind of, I don't want to play this out to scare too many people, because injuries happen, crap happens, but
it does. And I'll tell you what, this is one of those reasons too, that USA Hockey, which pretty much every rink in North America requires you, if you're going to play in a league, to have a USA Hockey membership. And part of that USA Hockey membership is insurance. Exactly. It will pick up whatever your own health insurance doesn't cover. And if you're one of those people that doesn't have any health insurance, then it picks up pretty much all of it. I think when this was all said and done, we were under $1,500 out of pocket for ER visit, surgeries. I think I did have to buy the knee scooter, which I turned around and sold it on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace right after I got done using it. But yeah, we started physical therapy, started the week after the surgery, which I was very surprised at. I was a little surprised because I'm just following their directions, and she pops me up on the table and, all right, move your foot to the left. I'm like, are you kidding me? She goes, I'll move it. And I was like, and it moved a little bit. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. We moved it left. I was like, oh, look at that. Hey, I figured it would be stiff and clunky and painful. But, again, all through that, just had some great physical therapy people that, they were all sports med people. So that made a big difference. That really helped out.
That's one thing that I'm learning at school is how quick, off the operating table, they send you right into PT.
Mm-hmm.
What are a couple of things I had you do? I mean, I don't want to dig too deep in the woods, but like, what kind of stuff did you have to do?
It started out just very simple. It was with elastic bands. You see them all over. You've seen them at the everything from Target to the gym, and it was just working on range of motion, where I would just literally flex my foot forward and backward like you're operating a gas pedal, and then moving left side to right side by putting resistance on the opposite end. And eventually that graduated to where I would stand with one foot flat and the other one on a I'm drawing a blank, the exercise ball with a flat bottom, Bosu ball.
Oh yeah.
So that would actually be flipped upside down, and what I would do there is I would then roll that around in a circle where I would touch the edge of it to the ground. So you'd have the round part down, foot on the flat part. You just roll this thing around, concentrating on touching the edge of it all the way around as you did it. And then again, that was rotating the ankle in a 180 or 360 degrees going each direction. I did a lot of that. It was about the time that we could put weight on it, which is when I could start walking. I think that was right at the end of April. Yeah, the first part of May, because my big fear then was I wouldn't be able to go to the Indianapolis 500, and I'd missed one of those since 1973. So that was a big motivator for physical therapy. But yeah, once I could start doing that, start doing some leg presses and calf extensions on a weighted machine. And that was also cool because I could now go to the gym and start doing a little bit of a workout on the bike. I could strength stuff, anything that did involve putting pressure on that leg. But I attribute that for sure as to what made me able to get back on the ice so quickly. Excuse me. After all that happened, for sure.
No, that's awesome. And if you have notes, I mean, on a personal note, I want them. If you have some sort of notes, we're going through all that stuff now, range of motion, that kind of stuff, plans, the way the plan is built out, your discharge.
I think I still have a binder somewhere that has all that in it, Dave. I'd be happy to share that with you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Super interesting.
Education out of that would be cool. But, like you said, I don't tell this to scare people, but it is, it's a reality that, let's be real. The injury I had, they said skiers get it, and you'll see it anytime there's an ice storm. Somebody steps off a porch or something, and your foot catches wrong, and it's the exact same injury. So, you need to respect the game, respect the fact that you are playing on ice. It is hard. It is difficult. And, there's some things you need to be made aware of. I know I'm much more sensitive now to when I see somebody fall down going towards the boards. If I see their feet out in front of them, which, again, it's not how I got hurt, but most ankle injuries come from people going in the boards feet first. I had one where I took a tumble, a game you and I were playing together. I was playing against your team, and I thought I would rather hit this board's face first than I would feet first. And I kind of went down. I kind of finagled around, or I kind of pancaked it with my arms and knees and didn't get hurt. But yeah, I mean, that flashed through my head. It makes you a little more conscious of decisions you make on the ice. I think in the long run, it made me a better player. I know just from doing the physical therapy, because it occurred to me about 3 weeks into it. It's like, if I do all this work on the right side of my leg, now my left side's ankle's going to be weak. So I better start, training that too. So I started actually working out, doing the therapy exercises on both sides. But yeah, it's the better shape you are going into it, for sure, the easier it's going to be to come out of it.
Yeah. And my scare for anybody that's listening is, TJ went through this. It was miserable. As far as this kind of an injury goes, I don't want to get too deep here either. But, I think, a couple hundred people playing between Carmel, Fishers, Viper. I've seen three freak breaks. Yours was freak. We had Blake on the show at one point. His was a freak accident, and then the same with some other guy a couple years ago.
I think the week after I got hurt, he did the same thing, playing on the same team, or he played on our team or subbed on our team and would play the game after or something.
Which made me nervous because I played on the team after that, and it was you played break, he played break, and I'm like, oh shit, it's my turn now. But I think for me, I'm biased too because of the physical therapy stuff. But using this off time, it's where your diet plays in, your exercise plays in. We got to keep skating. We got to keep this kind of stuff top of mind, right? Because I'm scared how many breaks and injuries we're going to have, coming back that first couple of weeks.
Well, the law of averages says you're going to have some kind of injury at some point, and it could be to the extremes to where I got hurt, or it may just be a bad case of tennis elbow or some type of tendonitis in an arm or something. But again, I go back to, I think the better physical shape you are going into it, the easier it's going to be to recover. And just like you said, I think I commented on this as I was sitting around, because for the first 2 weeks, literally, I did nothing but sit on a couch. My big fear was I'm going to sit here and just eat and gain a bunch of weight and never be able to come back from that, or spend the next year and a half trying to lose the weight that I gained in 2 months. And thankfully that didn't happen. It was weird. I didn't gain any weight till I got back on my feet. That was really weird. That's another show.
Right.
But yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And I'm eating. We went shopping. We're still on that shopping trip from when everybody went and bought everything. So there was just garbage left. So, we were eating this boxed food, and that's the thing. Like I ran today. That is the thing. It's like, these are freak injuries. So I don't want us to scare anybody. We are off right now, and you were off back then. What are some things that you had to relearn?
One of the first things I had to relearn just getting back on the ice was the muscle memory of what it was like to skate. I had been, at that point, it was February. So I had started, when I figured out that I was going to be playing hockey, one of the first things I did was I found a skating coach. And I worked with JJ Beck for quite a bit, and a couple of times with her brother Ryan, who are big here in youth hockey here in Central Indiana. But it became evident right away. A lot of the stuff that I couldn't do, that I'd learned, gone. It was just too long of going and not doing it. So I really had to go back and relearn. And it probably took me a week before I could step onto the ice and feel comfortable. And then it probably was another 2 weeks before I felt like, okay, I can do 90% of the stuff with my skates that I could do before I got hurt. And that last 5% took a little time. Of course, the conditioning goes right out the window immediately. When you got your foot in a boot, I'm sorry, you can't keep your cardio. It's just not going to happen. They tell you can ride a stationary bike, but when you got pedaling on a stationary bike, when you got one leg that's big around as a trash can because you have a big boot on it,
right,
doesn't make very, very comfortable. So you don't do it very long. And outside of that was probably really the big things. I took that time to study a lot. We've talked about Coach Jeremy again. The minute I could stand up and kind of prop myself up on one leg, I was using my shooting pad on my deck. I had to do something to scratch that hockey itch. I was like, there's no way I can go 3 months without doing something hockey. Coming watching you guys do stick and puck, even just sitting there helped quite a bit, just, with the psychological of it for sure.
No, and I remember that. I remember your road to recovery. I mean, you worked your ass off. You a couple different skating coaches. You were at stick and puck 3 or 4 times a week. You brought all the stuff out. I mean, kudos to you. I couldn't imagine going through that. I haven't gone through one yet. But you and Blake, just because I know you two. Blake's a little more audible lately. We're taking a break about like, oh, this hurts or that hurts. Do you have any residual pain, or do you have? I mean, what kind of stuff can you explain that?
Now, every once in when I first got back into skates, where the incisions were, it was a little tender, so I ended up getting these little makeup sponges. Literally on the way to the rink, I stopped at a Walgreens, figuring this could be an issue. And I get these makeup sponges, so I kind of tuck those in the boot up around my ankle. I tighten up, and it was kind of one of those. It didn't hurt. I wouldn't call it uncomfortable. It just, you knew it was there. It's kind of like if you've maybe got a blister on your hand from raking leaves all day, and the next day you get up and you grab the rake. It doesn't hurt, but you know that little injuries there. And every once in a while, I can feel just a little discomfort if I'm making a really, really super hard left-hand turn, doing a crossover, trying to turn around in a hurry. And especially if I'm fatigued, which leads me to believe it's probably a little more the muscles that run up and down that particular bone that probably are a little more fatigued and maybe not quite fully recovered from that. But, I mean, outside of that, I certainly think I'm a better player now than I was before I got hurt. I mean, it's got nothing to do with getting hurt. It's just got to be I've been playing a little longer. And I think, that weekend, those 2 weekends, our last 2 weekends on the ice, I played, 2 back-to-back. I played our game and filled in a game. So outside of that, no, I mean, it was, and he told me from day one, he goes, he goes, once this heals up, he goes, you'll do everything you were doing before. Don't worry about it. And, this guy, I'm looking around his office and I see all these pictures of athletes that are certainly much more accomplished than I am or will ever be. And they made it. And I was like, all right, if these guys can do it, I think I'm going to take the guy at his word.
Right. And, we go on and on about videos, and I know videos are nothing like actually getting your ass out there and doing it. How important were those videos to you on you come back?
I would say, I think they serve two purposes, Dave. One was, again, the psychological aspect of it. I felt it gave me the ability while I was sitting there on the couch with my leg propped up to feel like I was doing something constructive. And then also figuring out, okay, how in the short term, once I can stand up again without, needing some support, how can I, take this shooting drill, this dry land shooting drill and, modify it to what I can do. And then the second part of it is the fact that, before I got hurt, I was gung ho all laid up with hockey. I was skating. Again, one of the joys of being self-employed, I was skating 2 to 3 times a week, and that was suddenly gone. So time that maybe I could say, well, I could sit here and watch a video and maybe learn something, or I can go skate. A lot of times it's like, let's go to the ice rink. I'd rather skate. So, it was kind of like, it did give me some time that I wouldn't have had under other circumstances to, start watching some of the Coach Jeremy stuff, some of the other stuff I was watching that I was real interested in on positioning and offensive responsibilities and defensive responsibilities. Again, for a guy that only been playing 3 months, this is stuff I didn't know. So I think on that aspect of it, that was probably the positive aspect of the extra time I had.
Yeah, because your hockey smarts even me too. I right now I'm looking at videos, but your hockey smarts have gotten ridiculous. And now you got the training center, man.
Islander Training Center.
I know. When I drove by, my for those of you, I went home for a couple funerals over the last 2 weeks.
And
I drive by. It blows, man.
It just, man, when it rains, it pours, man.
Yeah, 2 in 2 weeks. But what I think is both of my grandparents on different sides of the family, they were just like, you know what? I want to get Dave out of the house. So I'm going to – that's the way I'm going to think about it.
They'll do anything for you. Anything in the world for you.
Both of them would. But, yeah, I tried to beep you on the way out, and the place is looking good. We're not playing hockey right now, which effing sucks.
Yes.
But somebody somewhere is in a cast. There's somebody listening right now. We are pretty powerful in the media world as far as advice, throughout the land.
We are experts on our own opinion.
We absolutely are. What's a piece of advice that you would give somebody right now listening to us that has a boot, that has a crutch or a sling? What advice would you tell them or maybe give them about the crap that they're going through that you went through?
I would say take your physical therapy every bit as serious as you did your game, because that is what is going to be the key to getting you right back on the ice as quickly as possible. To me, it was never even a question as to, well, you get this list of exercises, or you're supposed to do this 3 times a day. Well, I was trying to do it 4 or 5 if I could. Or, if they're saying do this for 3 sets of 10, well, I'm doing 3 sets of 20. And I want to see how far I can run that up. My goal was I wanted to go, when I went into physical therapy, this is the competitive part of me now, whatever my therapist was expecting, I want to just blow it away with, I've got that. Come on, we need to speed this up. You need to give me something a little more challenging. That was kind of my goal. So I again, in all this, if you fart around and you get discouraged and you don't do your therapy stuff at home, it's just like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back all the way. Or buckle down, stay focused. It's hard. It's super hard, especially, 8-9 weeks into this, but just stick with it. Just stick with it. Work it as hard as you do your game, and, it'll be over it will be over at some point.
No, that's great advice, because I would say that PTs are probably the smartest and most handsome, most athletically skilled people on the planet.
I noticed that. There was a room full of them. I just walked in going, man, I just feel very unattractive all of a sudden. I don't understand.
And if somebody's injured right now, I just advise you to wait 2 years, a year and a half. Wait a year and a half so I can help you. That would be fantastic.
just learn to live with a limp for 18 months.
Just stick with it. I will help you. No, I don't know if you can you tell me where you went? Is something you can share where you went? I'm curious to see, because there's all kinds of settings.
Here in Central Indiana. It was the Beltway Surgical Center, which is part of Methodist Sports Medicine, is who I worked with.
Okay.
And it was really neat. It kind of, I ask anybody I play with, they'll say, "Oh yeah, you coach, asshole, shut up." That would be the people who play with me. But I'm kind of a coach by nature. And as my kids were growing up, I coached Little League basketball. And I did have a player who I coached that went into the NBA, was a first-round draft pick, Jeffrey Teague, who last I heard, I believe was placed for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But he had played. He still has a home here in Indiana. In fact, he played for the Pacers for quite a while. Actually, was the second team after he was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Played there for a couple of years, and the Pacers picked him up. But I'm sitting there in physical therapy, and it was kind of cool. I look over and I look at my therapist. I said, "That guy over there." I go, "Is that Jeffrey Teague?" And she goes, "Well, I can't really say." And I go, "Well," I explained the situation. I go, "Well, when he was about 6." I coached him in basketball, and I said I was going to go over and say hi, but I don't, I just want to make sure that I haven't seen the guy other than on TV. 20 some years. I didn't want to fool myself and go, "Oops, never mind." So it was kind of cool. I got to say hello to him. But I mean, I knew I was with people that knew what they're doing. When you see somebody plays in the NBA, laying on a table literally right next to you, you're like, all right, yeah, you're in the right spot for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Did he write you a check right then and there for his skill development, or did you have to get that later?
Well, I left it. I go, "Hey, I don't want to bother you. Just send it here." I gave him one of my cards and ran off.
Invoice.
I don't know if he lost it. I don't know if I don't know. I have to find out who his agent is and probably send that back. But I'll start with breath now.
So no, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool story. It's a story of comeback. I mean, it was super crappy what happened to you, especially at the time, relatively early. I think it's awesome that, you've done the things you do. I love your shout out to the PTs. I don't know. I think it's badass. You've worked your ass off for this. Sorry about all the cursing, folks, but like TJ worked his ass off for this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, just to come back and, it sucks you're celebrating your year anniversary doing nothing.
But it's not this time by no fault of my own.
Right. No, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Come back. I mean, you drive yourself. You're an inspiration to probably a lot of listeners, to me, myself, just some of the drills we go through, I
want to give a shout out to a guy that I met on Instagram. Hockey Doob is his name. He's a skateboarder. Who just started playing and had a very similar injury about 3 weeks or 2 weeks after I got hurt. And on a skateboard, though, his injury wasn't playing hockey; it was on a skateboard. And it was literally, it's like if there whatever complication there could be, this poor cat had it. But it was kind of neat that we kind of held each other accountable as we were going through our rehab, because we kind of private message back and forth, "Hey, how's it going? What'd they do here? What'd they do there?" And it was kind of neat. And I was able to get back. I was able to get back on the ice, I think about 4.5, 5 months before he was, because they just had all kinds of issues. But it was kind of neat having an accountability partner like that. And, it's kind of one of those things. Other people are going through it. And like you said, it's just kind of, you're not alone. You will get through it. Take it as serious as you're taking everything else in your game.
And you said Hockey Noob, right?
Yeah, NEWB. In fact, while we're talking here, if I can talk
I follow him. Our hockey team follows him. I follow him. Dude's awesome. Yeah. He reminds me of Sean Silstroff. He reminds me of Sean, a friend of the show. Guy's awesome. Yeah, I was just on looking. And it's funny because he'll send pictures of himself falling down, busting his ass. Dude's pretty funny sometimes.
If you want to check him out, it's hockey.noob, N-E-W-B. His name is Chris. Just reading, he says, "I'm a lifelong skateboarder trying to learn ice hockey for the first time in my mid-40s. What could possibly go wrong?" Yeah, no kidding. But he's done a great job of documenting. He even made his own range of motion device, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, he was like I was. He was just chomping at the bit to get back, and he does a lot of inline training. I think his work schedule keeps him. So if you want somebody interesting and fun to follow on Instagram, that's hockey.noob, N-E-W-B. Check him out. Shout out Chris. Love your player. So there's our shout out for the day.
Yeah,
anyway.
I second that. Yeah, the dude's funny. He's had a video up yesterday or the day before of him rail sliding in all hockey gear.
Yes.
I used to skateboard. I used to skateboard before I rollerbladed, so I'm like totally following this guy. Yeah, I used to be a thrasher. I used to love Tony Hawk and all the Christian Asoy, all these guys, man. Mike McGill. My brother lives in San Diego now, and he's out there skating with them, and his son Ben, my nephew, is skating with their kids. I'm like, God damn, this is cool. Jimmy nonchalance. He's like, hey, I'm hanging out with Mike McGill. He used to be a pro skater. He's like, hey, man, Lance, Mountain, Tony Hawk. I'm like, come on, man, these are my heroes. But no, it's cool.
Hanging out, being cool, just being guys.
Dude, I keep looking at that beer you're drinking. I got one.
You crack one open. I'm doing the summer shandy. This is the Line and Kugel summer shandy. Kind of backed into one of these. I was at a friend's house and this is all they had left. I was like, all right, how bad can it be? And got a swig like, damn, that's good. So that is my summer beer. And despite the fact that we're supposed to have a wintry mix here tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, the day
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's like, get out of here. So I will be indoors with a garage light. Yeah, we'll be working on and in the Highlanders training facility tomorrow for sure.
Well, I think after next week, man, I'll be open. I'll come out we can wear masks or whatever, because I'm dying to get out and skate. But man, yeah, you're right. It's going to get snowy and shitty. And I've been running, but skating and man,
yeah, I think next week we're supposed to have some decent weather, some sunshine and 50s and 60s. So that makes it a little more palatable for sure.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll definitely come out and bug you, man.
Well, Dave, you got anything else for the fine people listening at home?
Keep training, guys and gals. We'll get out of this crap soon and keep doing what you got to do. TJ, thank you, man.
Hey, no problem. Hey, thank you, dude. Thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, folks, this week's show has been brought to you by our good friends at thehockeyarsenal.com. Beer league sticks at expert level quality, guys. You can't go wrong. Dave and I both play with their Jealousy. They've got 3 sticks that are absolutely amazing to fit anybody's budget under 100. The other 2 under 200. Amazing sticks. You can't go wrong. Andy and the crew up there, just the customer care is second to none. I invite you to go to their website. You can check them out on social media too at The Hockey Arsenal. Also, Winning Synthetics. Just talking about, I've got a huge AMSOIL order. I got 2 oil changes in there, some oil for my mower, chainsaws. These are the companies that support us financially with a few bucks here and there when we do good things for them. That's why we don't ask you guys for any money. We don't do the Patreon thing or anything like that. So what we're asking is, when there is an opportunity, if you're ever in the market for any type of oil or lubricant for your car, mowers, lawn implements, whatever, please give winningsynthetics.com a look. Check it out. See if there's something there you can use. And next time you're shopping for a twig, make sure you swing over and check out the offerings from The Hockey Arsenal. They get 5 stars from Dave and I. I talk about them all the time simply because I love the product, but you judge for yourself. Check them out. That's all we got. Who usually does our intros and outros. Thanks, Kelly. Great job. And folks, wash your hands, wash your ass, wash everything that needs to be washed, and take care of each other. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks for listening.
Later.
You have been listening to the Midlife Hockey Crisis podcast. We'll see you next period.